I just wanted to kind of get a little closer look at everyone's faces here. Again, my name is Michael. I'm Michael Rosales. I'm originally from California. That's where I kind of like grew up. Well, born in Philippines, but I kind of grew up in California, San Francisco. I moved there when I was like 9 years old. I grew up in band. I played in band through middle school, all through high school. I played trumpet terribly. Terribly. I was like, this is just not for me, you know? But I loved music. And somewhere in high school, I think around my junior year, I saw these people throwing rifles in the air. I was like, I think I can handle that a little bit better than playing this horn. And so I started kind of dabbling. I jumped in there. I joined the Winter Guard. And then by my senior year, I was captain of the varsity guard. And we went to WGI and we made finals. I was like, what's happening here? This is kind of fun. And then from there, after high school, I really wanted to study this thing called dance a little bit more. There was something about moving my body that to me felt good and it made sense to me, you know? And so after high school, I would go to school, I would work part-time, and then as often as I can, I would take the train to San Francisco, at the San Francisco Dance Center, and I would take classes every single day almost. And I would take everything from hip-hop to contemporary to ballet to Afro-Cuban. Like anything with music, I wanted to get in there and I wanted to move to. I wanted to learn how to move to every piece of music. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I heard music, I wanted to know culturally, how does that work? What does that feel like? What's behind that? And then all of a sudden, after like a year and a half, I started booking jobs, like music videos and live shows and like things like that. I was being invited. And then one day, I was at the end of a rehearsal, sitting in the car with my hip-hop teacher back then. He's like my mentor. Just kind of talking. I was like, you know what? I wish I could do this for a living. And he literally said, you can. What do you mean I can't? And just literally him saying those two small words like opened up a portal in my brain, in my imagination to go, whoa, maybe it is possible. And so I leaned into it. I went for it, and I've had an amazing career as a dancer. I've danced in London, I've toured in Japan, I've done a US tour, I've done movies, I've worked with different artists. You probably wouldn't know any of them now just because you guys are babies. I worked with talent in Miami. I've worked with Becky G, Ricky Martin, Wisin y Yandel. I was in the movie Rent. So I've done my stuff. And then after a while, I moved to Miami. After I stopped touring, I opened a talent agency in Miami with a friend of mine. So when people like Pitbull comes to town, and Pitbull is like, Mr. 305 needs 40 girls on stage, we're like, well, we have 500. Which girls do you want? You know, so we became a liaison for dancers and artists that needed work. And somewhere in that time, I met some drum corps people. You guys would probably know like April Gilligan and Daniel Riley. And they kind of started pulling me into drum corps. And my first drum corps that I worked with was the Cadets. And I did choreography with the color guard there. And then after that, I worked with Blue Coats. I worked with Crown. I worked with Blue Knights. And most recently, the Santa Clara Vanguard. And then I started teaching more into high school bands. And then for me, something about working with high school bands and musicians kind of like pulls at my heart. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older, you know? But I see a little bit of myself in all of you, just because I was you. I was where you are. And because of band, because of dance, because of color guard, it opened up a world for me that I couldn't even dream was possible. Because someone said, you can. Does that make sense? And so I love teaching band. I love kind of exploring movement with bands just because, again, I see a little bit of myself in all of you guys. And that excites me because I know in here is filled with amazing artists. And when you give an artist a tool to communicate, you will take it and you will run. I know it. I know it. I know that you will take whatever you are given and you will run with it. And for me, movement one, it has given me so much, not just like professionally, but like therapeutically, mentally, physically. And so I come here today to just kind of explore movement. And the first thing I want you to understand that movement is not ballet. Movement is not jazz, it's not hip hop, it's not salsa, it's not merengue, it's not bachata. Movement is you communicating through your body. Yeah? So any like fears that you've had or blocks that you might have about what movement is and what you think you're going to experience today, get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. Yes? Because literally we can all sit here, everyone just sit up and just do this. That's movement. Yeah? Like if I was to see a band of 100 on the field like this, I'd be like this, what are they about to do? You know, you have my interest now. I'm putting down my hot dog. I'm like, what are they going to do? Yes? So I just want you to know that you have that power to be able to kind of make people feel things visually because it's so organic. Movement is the most organic thing you could possibly do. It's more organic than talking. Because when you're born, you bottle. You know, like you know how to do things when you're little. And so somewhere in time, we labeled it dance, and all of a sudden it can be scary. Yeah, so I want you to kind of just get that out of your minds. Today, this afternoon, I don't have any exact like ideas of what I want from you guys. What I am going to do is just constantly throw stuff at you and see how you receive it. Yes? If I see that you're mature enough to receive something, then I'm going to keep throwing more at you. And I'm going to make it a little bit more harder and a little bit more difficult. And I'm going to challenge you a little bit more. But the moment I feel a little bit of like, you know that like that teenage giggle? Yeah, that one. Then I know they're like, oh, they're uncomfortable. Maybe they're not ready for this. And if I get that vibe, I'm going to pull back. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to have fun and I want to have fun. I'm not going to force anything out of you. Yes? So the moment I get a little bit of that pushback, I'm going to pull back. Yeah? So again, I'm here for you guys, and I'm going to give you what you want to return back at me. Yes? Today, we have hour and a half. I have till 3 or 3:30? 3:40. 3:30. Oh, okay. We have a nice... they were like, oh, my ride's outside. So we have 2 hours is a good amount of time, yes? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little warm-up. I'm sure you guys have had a full morning of warm-up, but I want you guys to warm up differently, yeah?